Okay, good morning, students. Is it audible? Okay. Now see the topic. Today's topic is on Fibonacci series and all pairs shortest paths algorithm in dynamic programming. Our chapter is chapter 4, dynamic programming. In that, in the previous class, covered about the steps in the dynamic programming and concept of dynamic programming and the properties or the elements in the dynamic programming and applications of dynamic programming. So what are the applications in matrix multiplication, in the binary search tree, and also in the all pairs shortest path problems and in Fibonacci series. So in many areas, we have the applications of dynamic programming. So today, we will discuss about the Fibonacci series and all pairs shortest paths problems. Just see what is a dynamic programming. Just recall what is a dynamic programming. In the unit 4, we have the first topic, all pairs shortest paths. Okay. So what is a dynamic programming? Dynamic programming is a technique, that is an algorithmic technique for solving an optimization problem by breaking it down into simpler subproblems and utilizing the fact that the optimal solution to the overall problem depends upon the optimal solution to its subproblems. So optimal solution we want to find by using the dynamic programming technique. What is optimal solution? Either maximum or minimum. Optimal solution means finding the maximum value and the minimum value. Either or minimum value. Okay. Now take the example of the Fibonacci numbers. So Fibonacci numbers are a series of numbers in which each number is the sum of the two preceding numbers. So we have the preceding numbers. We are taking the sum of the preceding numbers. Okay. The first few Fibonacci numbers are 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. So we can continue from there. See here, if we want to find any element in the Fibonacci series, you need to add the previous two numbers. So if you want to find f of n, then you need to add f of n minus 1 and f of n minus 2, previous two numbers. So in the Fibonacci sequence, see the Fibonacci sequence of numbers, we are saying fi equal to I. If I less than or equal to 1, that means if I is 0, what is f of 0? Fibonacci series, what is 0? That is, we can consider 0. See, first number. Suppose I is equal to 1. I is equal to 1. Then what is the second number in our Fibonacci? That is 1. So for I is less than or equal to 1, for 0 it is 1, it is 0, for 1 it is 1. Now see the second one. If I is greater than or equal to 2, if I is equal to 2 or greater than 2, in that case we need to add previous two numbers to get the number. Okay, suppose f I minus 1 plus f I minus 2, previous two numbers we need to add. Now see the recursive program. See, for Fibonacci series you can write a recursive algorithm or an iterative algorithm. When you say iterative algorithm, we are using the for loop or while loop like this. When you say recursive program, that particular function calls itself repeatedly, so no need to use the for loop or while loop. So we have the recursive and iterative. There are two types of cases. One is recursive program, another one is iterative program. See here we have f5. Now we want to calculate the Fibonacci f5. That is f5 means for number 5 we want to calculate the Fibonacci series. Suppose f of 5 you want to calculate, then f of 4 and f of 3. Okay, you need to calculate f of 4 and f of 3, since f of 3 plus f of 4 is the f of 5. So how to get f of 4? Then again you need to calculate f of 2 and f of 3. How to get f of 3? Again you need to calculate f of 1 and f of 2, since previous two numbers for 3, that is previous is 2 and 1 for 3. So we need to calculate. Again you want to calculate f of 2. Then you need to calculate f of 1 and f of 0, previous 2. So in the same way, we are continuing the same process in all the cases. So constructed a tree. This is the tree you got. So when you consider, for example, to calculate f of 5, you want to calculate Fibonacci number 5. So for this, how many times you need to calculate f2, f of 2? We need to calculate here f of 2. F of 2 is calculated here. F of 2 is calculated here. F of 2 is calculated here. So you need to calculate f of 2 3 times. Suppose to calculate f of 5, you need to calculate f of 1, f1 one time here, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So you need to calculate 4 times. How many times you need to calculate f of 0 to calculate f of 5? F of 0, f of 0, f of 0, you need to consider 3 times. So like this, much replicated computation is done. Repeated computation we are doing here. To calculate f of 5, you need to calculate f of 2 some number of times. You need to calculate f of 1 some number of times. You need to consider f of 0 some number of times. So it should be solved by a simple loop. We can solve the same problem with a simple loop by storing the values in a table. Now see this one, Fibonacci sequence, already explained. Fibonacci numbers f of n are defined as follows. So we have f of 0 is equal to 0, f of n we need to calculate f of 1 is 1, f of n is f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2. Suppose Fibonacci of n, you want to calculate Fibonacci of nth number. If n is less than 2, the value is less than 2, then return the n. That particular value you can return. Suppose else, return fib of n minus 1 plus fib of n minus 2. The previous two numbers you need to return. So this is a recursive procedure. So there are 4 levels of recursion for the call fib. You want to calculate Fibonacci of 8. Then you need to calculate like this. Suppose to get Fibonacci of 8, you need to calculate Fibonacci of 7 and Fibonacci of 6. Again, you need to calculate Fibonacci of 6 and Fibonacci of 5. For Fibonacci of 7, for getting Fibonacci of 6, you need to calculate Fibonacci of 5 and 4. So like this, you need to calculate all these values. So we are using the memorization technique. Memorization techniques means you are storing the values. Instead of computing again and again. Suppose when you want to compute or calculate f of 5, you need to calculate the f of 2 3 times. So instead of calculating the 3 times, you can calculate 1 time and you can store the value. You can use that particular value to compute to cancel for f of 2 whenever it comes. So a single recursive call to fib of n results in one recursive call to fib of n minus 1, 2 recursive calls to fib of n minus 2. 2 times you need to call. 3 recursive calls to fib of n minus 3 and 5 recursive calls to fib of n minus 4. That means you are calculating some number of times. So it takes that many number of recursive calls. In general, f of k minus 1 recursive calls to fib of n minus k, we can avoid this unneeded repetition. Since repetitive calculations you can avoid by writing down the conclusion of the recursive calls. So on looking them up again, if we need them later, so this process is called memorization. So we are storing the values, and whenever they need, you can look up those values and you can use those values. So algorithm with memorization. So in the case of memo-fib algorithm, if n is less than 2, then return n. Okay. If n is equal to 0, return 0. If n is equal to 1, return 1. Else case, if f of n is undefined, then f of n memo-fib of n minus 1 and memo-fib of n minus 2. Again, you are calling the memo-fib function and return f of n. If we trace through the recursive calls to memo-fib function, we find that array f gets filled from bottom up. So we need to fill up from the leaves to the root. That is first f of 2, then f of 3 and so on up to f of n. So we can replace recursion with a simple for loop that just fills up the array f in that order. That means now you can replace the recursive procedure. That means in the recursive procedure we are calling the same function again. So replace the recursive procedure with the iterative procedure. Iterative procedure, in this case we are using the for loop to calculate the Fibonacci series numbers. So see the iterative fib, iterative function. F of 0 assigned with 0. If f of 0, that is the first number in the Fibonacci series, that is 0. Second number in the Fibonacci series is 1. F of 1 is equal to 1. So for I equal to 2 to n, that means when we are considering from the second number, second position, that is I equal to 2 is considered, then that indicates the Fibonacci number of 2 we can calculate. So Fibonacci number of 2 is equals to f of I minus 1 plus f of I minus 2. So I is incremented, again 3 considered, next 4 is considered, next 5 is considered, next 6 is considered, like that I will be incremented. And you are calculating the Fibonacci of 2, 3, 4 like this. So with the by adding the previous two numbers, f of I minus 1 plus f of I minus 2. Now return the final value f of n. After calculating, after completion of for loop, you will get the f of n value. Suppose you want to calculate f of 4, then I is equal to first time, next I equal to 3, next I equal to 4. Like this you can calculate. You will get the f of 4 after completion of this for loop. Then f of 4 you can return. So how much time is taken for the recursive approach of calculating the Fibonacci numbers? That is Fibonacci numbers calculation by using the recursive approach, and Fibonacci number calculation by using the iterative approach. Now see the difference, you can easily understand. This algorithm clearly takes only O of n time to compute f of n. When you want to calculate f of n, then the iterative algorithm takes O of n time. By contrast, the original recursive algorithm that takes O of big O of pi power n. That means this is a pi is a some constant value, maybe 2, for example. Big O of 2 power n, that is a exponential time. So recursive algorithm takes exponential time, whereas our iterative algorithm in the Fibonacci series takes linear time, f of n, that is O of big O of n. See here, we have two observations here. First one is O of n for iterative approach of Fibonacci series algorithm. The time taken is O of n. Since we are storing the values and we are using the same values for calculating of Fibonacci series of higher numbers. So another one is recursive algorithm, big O of pi power n. That means it takes exponential time. So which one is better? Recursive algorithm takes exponential time, and our iterative algorithm takes linear time. Which one is better? Always the algorithm which takes linear time, that is big O of n, is far more better than the algorithm which takes big O of 2 power n, that is exponential time. Okay, this algorithm you got, that is linear algorithm, linear timing algorithm, that is iterative algorithm, is based on the dynamic programming approach. We have used the dynamic programming approach. That is why it takes less time, far more better than the recursive approach. So iterative fib include an exponential speed up over the original recursive algorithm. So main observation is the iterative algorithm takes linear time, that is big O of n. So when we apply the dynamic programming approach, so it is will be better. Okay, Floyd's algorithm. Our main point is all pairs shortest path problem, our main topic in our class. So that can be solved by Floyd's algorithm. So what is all pairs? All pairs means from every vertex to every other vertex. There is a shortest path you need to find. That is called all pairs shortest path problem. Suppose in our Dijkstra's algorithm, we have used single source shortest path in greedy algorithm. So this single source shortest path finds the shortest path from one vertex. We can call that one is a source vertex to the destination vertex. We want to find we are finding the shortest path. But in this case, we are taking the all pairs, we are considering the all pairs shortest path problem. That means from every vertex to every other vertex, we are finding the shortest path. So that is that can be implemented, that can be solved by using Floyd's algorithm. So all pairs shortest path. The problem, find the shortest path between every pair of vertices of a graph. The graph may contain negative edges but no negative cycles. No negative cycles. Negative cycles are not allowed. But edges, maybe -3, -4 like this, negative edges may contain. So representation of the problem. A weight matrix where Wi comma j, I is the one vertex, j is another vertex. I to j, there is an edge. So Wij, W of I comma j, weight of that particular edge, I comma j, is equal to 0 if I equal to j. I equal to j means, suppose when you consider in a graph, we have the vertices 1, 2, 3 in a graph. From vertex 1 to the same vertex 1, what is the distance? ఒక వర్టెక్స్ నుంచి అదే వర్టెక్స్కి డిస్టెన్స్ ఎంత ఉంటుందండి? 0. సో దట్ ఈజ్ వై వీఆర్ సేయింగ్ W of I comma j ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు 0 ఇఫ్ I equal to j. I equal to j. W of I comma j is equal to infinity if there is no edge between I and j. Between the vertices I and j, if there is no direct edge, then we can take the weight of W of I comma, that is W of I comma j is equals to infinity. See, these are distances, okay. W of I comma j is equal to weight of edge, the directed edge there is there. There is a direct edge is there. So that is why we are saying weight of edge. So the weight matrix on the graph. See, in the all pairs shortest path problem, you need to find the weight matrix. So that is important. Just see the weight matrix. See the weight matrix. We have the vertex V1 in the graph. In the graph shown in figure, we have the vertex V1. Okay, now see the vertex v1. From vertex v1 to vertex v1, 0. Since vertex 1 to vertex 1, the distance is 0. Vertex 2 to vertex 2, the distance is 0. Vertex 3 to 3, distance is 0. 4 to 4, distance is 0. 5 to 5, distance is 0. Now observe, from the same vertex to every same vertex, that is the distance from 1 to 1, that is 0. Distance from 2 to 2 is 0. That is why we have taken 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Now see this one, vertex 1 to 2. Vertex 1 to 2, there is a value 1, so you can write 1. Now vertex 1 to 3, 1 to 3, there is no direct edge, no direct edge. కాబట్టి డైరెక్ట్గా ఎడ్జ్ లేదు కాబట్టి 1 to 3 ఏం చేసాం, ఇన్ఫినిటీ రాసాం. యూ నీడ్ టు రైట్ ద ఇన్ఫినిటీ. దిస్ ఇస్ infinity. So again 1 to 4, check it. 1 to 4, 1. 1 to 5, 5. 2 to 1, from 2, vertex 2 to vertex 1, there is a direct edge, 9. Vertex 2 to 3, 3. Vertex 2 to 4, 2. Vertex 2 to 5, there is no direct edge. Vertex 2 నుంచి vertex 5కి ఎటువంటి డైరెక్ట్ ఎడ్జ్ లేదు కాబట్టి ఇన్ఫినిటీ. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ఫినిటీ. Now check from vertex 3 to vertex 1. Vertex 3 to 1, there is no direct edge, so infinity. 3 to 2, infinity, no direct edge. 3 to 4, 3 to 4, there is an edge with 4, so 4. 3 to 5, 3 to 5, no direct edge, infinity. Check from 4 to 1, 4 to 1, from vertex 4 to vertex 1, no direct edge, infinity. 4 to 2, no direct edge, infinity. So 4 to 3, vertex 4, from 4 to vertex 3, there is an edge with 2. So and so on, you can continue like this and you can fill up, you will get the matrix. Okay, you can continue like this, you will get the matrix, the weight matrix. సో వెయిట్ మ్యాట్రిక్స్ ఎలా చేసామండి, డైరెక్ట్ ఎడ్జ్ కనుక లేకపోతే ఇన్ఫినిటీ, ఒకవేళ డైరెక్ట్ ఎడ్జ్ కనుక ఉంటే ఆ వెయిట్ తీసుకుంటాం అంతే. Okay, the subproblems. How can we define the shortest distance di comma j in terms of smaller problems? So we want to define the shortest distance problem as a smaller problems. Since our dynamic programming, we are dividing the given problem into number of subproblems. So we need to consider the smaller problems. So one way is to restrict the paths to only include vertices from a restricted subset. The subset is empty. ఇనిషియల్గా సబ్సెట్ ఎంటీగా తీసుకుంటాం. Then it is incrementally increased until it includes all the vertices. So the subproblems d power k I comma j, weight of the shortest path from vi to vj using only vertices from v1 to vk as intermediate vertices in the path. So here dk I comma j meaning is I and j are the vertices. Okay, I comma j is the edge. So from I to j, from vertex I to vertex j, there is a path. Okay, in that particular path, if there are vertices v1 to vk, then it is defined. So weight of shortest path from vi to vj using only vertices from v1 to vk as intermediate vertices in the path. In that particular path, the intermediate vertices are v1 to vk. Here the path is from vertex I vi to vertex j vj. So d0 is equal to w. Whatever weight is considered, that particular weight. dn d, which is the goal matrix, since that is the solution we need. How do we compute dk from dk minus 1? From the previous one, how to compute the present shortest path? So the recursive definition for this, a shortest path from vi to vj restricted to using only vertices from v1 to vk as intermediate vertices does not use vk. Then dk I comma j is equal to dk minus 1 I comma j. If it is not using the vertex vk, then dk of I comma j is equals to dk of minus dk minus 1 of I comma j. So case 2, a shortest path from vi to vj restricted to using only vertices from v1 to vk as intermediate vertices does use vk. Now it is using the vk last vertex also. Then dk of I comma j is equals to dk minus 1 of I comma k plus dk minus 1 of k comma j. I comma k, k comma j. K is the intermediate vertex in that particular path. So we can consider I to k and k to j. Suppose when you consider the path from Yelur to Vijayawada, in between that Hanuman junction is there. So what we are doing? Distance from Yelur to Hanuman junction plus the distance from Hanuman junction to Vijayawada. In the Yelur to Vijayawada path, we have the Hanuman junction. So we need to consider distance from Yelur to Hanuman junction and also the distance from Hanuman junction to Yeluru, Hanuman junction to Vijayawada. So here also we are considering in the same way like this, dk of I comma j is equals to dk minus 1 of I comma k, k we are taking, plus dk minus 1 of k comma j. Okay, shortest path using intermediate vertices v1 to vk. Suppose vi is there, vj is there. In between that, we have the intermediate vertex vk. So the shortest path, we need to consider this one. We need to find vi to vj or vi to vk, vk to vj. So shortest path using intermediate vertices v1 to vk minus 1. So the recursive definitions, we need to consider dk of I comma j is equals to dk minus 1 of I comma j, or see r case dk of I comma j is equal to dk minus 1 of I comma k plus dk minus 1 of k comma j. Ik or ik to, first we are considering I to k, next we are considering k to j path for the previous matrix k minus 1. for the present matrix K. So we conclude finally, this is the main formula. Dk of I comma j is equals to minimum of d power dk minus 1 of I comma j comma dk minus 1 of I comma k plus dk minus 1 of k comma j. This is the main formula. From this, we can calculate dk of I comma j. So this is the main formula. Dk of I comma j is equals to minimum of dk minus 1 of I comma j d plus comma dk minus 1 of I comma k plus dk minus 1 of k comma j. So shortest path using intermediate vertices. So the pointer array P used to enable finding a shortest path. Initially the array contains 0. Initial value is 0. Each time that a shorter path from I to j is found, the k that provided the minimum is saved. Minimum value will be saved. Highest index node on the path from I to j. To print the intermediate nodes on the shortest path, a recursive procedure that prints the shortest paths from I to k, I and k, and from k to j can be used. So recursive paths can be considered. So this is the Floyd's algorithm. We can refer any textbook. We have the algorithm of Floyd's. So computes the shortest distance between all pairs of nodes and saves P to enable finding the shortest paths. So we need to find the shortest paths for this from the all the pairs of vertices from one vertex to each and every other vertex, from every vertex to every other vertex. So D naught equal W, that is initialize D array to W array to W. So okay, P equal to 0, initialize P array to 0. So we are using the for loop 1 to n. Do for loop, end the for loop I equal to 1 to n. End the for loop j equal to 1 to n. We are using the three variables k, I, j. So we are checking if dk minus 1 of I comma j is less than dk minus 1 of I comma k plus dk minus 1 of k comma j. That means I to j distance కంపేర్ చేస్తాం. ఐ నుంచి వర్టెక్స్ ఐ నుంచి వర్టెక్స్ జే వరకు ఉన్న డిస్టెన్స్ ఎంత, వర్టెక్స్ ఐ నుంచి వర్టెక్స్ కే వరకు ఉన్న డిస్టెన్సు ప్లస్ వర్టెక్స్ కే నుంచి వర్టెక్స్ జే వరకు ఉన్న డిస్టెన్సు, ఈ రెండు డిస్టెన్స్లు యాడ్ చేసి దీంతో కంపేర్ చేస్తాం. ఒకవేళ డీకే మైనస్ 1 ఆఫ్ ఐ కమా జే ఎక్కువగా ఉంటే అప్పుడు డీకే ఆఫ్ ఐ కమా జే ఇజ్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు డీకే మైనస్ 1 ఆఫ్ ఐ కమా కే ప్లస్ డీకే మైనస్ 1 ఆఫ్ కే కమా జే. ఈ రెండు కంపేర్ చేసినప్పుడు ఐ కమా జే ఐ కమా కే ప్లస్ కే కమా జే రెండు కంపేర్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏది తక్కువ ఉంటే ఏది షార్టర్ అయితే అదే తీసుకుంటాం. సో ఆ షార్టర్ డిస్టెన్స్ మాత్రమే మనం కన్సిడర్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఓకే, ఇది ఓకే. ఇది ఇంకో ఎగ్జాంపుల్. ఓకే, ఆల్రెడీ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ ద ఎగ్జాంపుల్ for this problem. So in this case also we are calculating d naught. సో d power 0 అంటే ఆ వర్టెక్స్ నుంచి రిమైనింగ్ వర్టెక్స్కి మనం డైరెక్ట్ ఎడ్జ్ ఉంటే 0, ఆ డైరెక్ట్ ఎడ్జ్ ఉంటే ఆ వెయిట్ తీసుకుంటాం. డైరెక్ట్ ఎడ్జ్ లేకపోతే ఇన్ఫినిటీ అని పెడతాం. సపోజ్ 1 నుంచి 1కి 0, ఇది డయాగనల్గా కూడా మనకి వాల్యూస్ 0, ఎందుకంటే ఆ వర్టెక్స్ నుంచి ఆ వర్టెక్స్కి డిస్టెన్స్ 0 కాబట్టి. ఇప్పుడు 1 నుంచి 2కి తీసుకున్నాం అనుకోండి, 1 నుంచి 2కి డిస్టెన్స్ ఎంత 4, అది ఇక్కడ వేసాం. 1 నుంచి 3కి డిస్టెన్స్ ఎంత 5, అదే వేసాం. 2 నుంచి 1కి వాట్ ఈస్ ద డిస్టెన్స్ 2 to 1, vertex 2 to vertex 1, 2 entered. See here vertex 2 to vertex 3, vertex 2 to vertex 3, there is no direct edge. So that is why we have taken infinity. So in this way, we are constructing the weight matrix. See the weight matrices, same as given example, the procedure. Now suppose D1. What is the weight matrix? Suppose you want to calculate vertex 1 to vertex 2. That is 4, already there. Since D1, 1 means vertex 1. So 1 ఉన్న column, 1 ఉన్న row, ఏ మాత్రం చేంజ్ అవ్వదు. 1 ఉన్న row, D0లో 1 ఉన్న row ఏమైంది? 045 ఉన్నాయి. 045 ఎంటర్ చేశాం. D0లో 1 ఉన్న కాలం ఏముంది? 0 to ఇన్ఫినిటీ ఉన్నాయి. 0 to ఇన్ఫినిటీ ఇక్కడ ఎంటర్ చేశాం. సేమ్ 1 ఉన్న మనం D1 కన్సిడర్ చేసినప్పుడు 1 ఉన్న రో కానీ 1 ఉన్న కాలం కానీ రెండు కూడా D0లో ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో అవే ఇక్కడ కూడా ఉంటాయి, మారదు. కానీ మనం కాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాల్సింది రిమైనింగ్ వాల్యూస్. సపోజ్ నేను 2 to 3 కాలిక్యులేట్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాను. 2 to 3 చేయాలంటే D1 2 to 3 చేయాలంటే ఏం చేయాలి? ఫస్ట్ మినిమమ్ ఆఫ్ D0కి వెళ్ళాలి, అంటే ప్రీవియస్ మ్యాట్రిక్స్లోకి వెళ్ళాలి. D0 of 2 3 అలాగే D0 of 2 1 ప్లస్ D0 of 1 3 చేయాలి. ఎందుకంటే D1కి చేస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ D0 of 2 1 తీసుకోవాలి, D0 of 1 3 తీసుకోవాలి. 2 to 3 వర్టెక్స్ మనం డిస్టెన్స్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తాం కాబట్టి వయా వర్టెక్స్ 1 తీసుకుంటున్నాం కాబట్టి 2 నుంచి 1కి 1 నుంచి 3కి తీసుకుంటున్నాం. సో ఫైనల్గా D0 of 2 3 వాల్యూ ఎంత? D0 of 2 3 ఇన్ఫినిటీ. D0 of 2 1 ఎంత? 2. D0 of 1 3 5. So 2 plus 5 7. So minimum of infinity and 7. Infinity is larger value, 7 is smaller value. So 7 we can take. So you can fill up 2 3 second row and third column with 7. So in this way we can continue the process. So already explained the example, one example. Okay, that's all. Thank you for attending the class. Thank you, dear students. If any doubts, you can send a message in the chat box. The class is completed. Those who want to leave the class, they can leave. Okay. Okay, class is completed.